All right, welcome. We're doing a quick rapid fire today on the NBA so far. We're finishing up the first round. So, first question, Nas, I'll start with you. What teams had the best crowd so far in the playoffs?
Man, the crowd that's impressed me the most in this playoffs has been Sacramento. I feel like the energy from that crowd and the momentum that the Kings as a young team have received from that crowd has been a giant booster for them, given that they're going against the former champs. The Warriors obviously have their struggles on the road, but I feel like just Sabonis not playing at his best, I think that crowd's really elevated the play of guys like Malik Monk and Trey Lyles, guys who have stepped up, Keegan Murray, and obviously De'Aaron Fox has been De'Aaron Fox. They call him fourth quarter Fox out there for a reason, and he's closed off almost every one of these games insanely well. But excuse me, I believe the big lift that they've gotten from this crowd with all the hype surrounding this historic playoff season and for them, I think is a big testament as to why they've been the best crowd in the league this year.
Great answer. TD?
I 100% agree. To me, it's no doubt it's Sacramento. The difference in the way they played at home in those two games they beat the Warriors and on the road was night and day. And it rattled the Warriors. The Warriors looked like a different rattled team in those two games. And to the naked eye, to someone that has never watched the Warriors, if they're just watching for the first time those first two games, you would think the Kings were the better team. That is how powerful the effect of the home crowd was. Second it was gone, they lost two games. And, just the fact that it's Sacramento, that they're the black sheep of California. They got no other sports teams. They're blue-collared fan base. The Lakers, they're the little brothers. They got no other sports in that town. They love their basketball. We remember back in the day, the Mike Bibby Kings against those Lakers. They never got the win, but wow, the crowd was insane. So I think it's no doubt, and it's had a noticeable effect on the team actually winning.
Yep. And just to point back to that 2002 playoffs, Western Conference Finals, Phil Jackson was wearing earplugs during that series because it was just so crazy. All right, next one. What team did you underestimate? You coming into the playoffs, you thought, oh, they're going to lose or they're not as good. And after watching the playoffs, you realized they're better than I thought. Niles, you go first.
The team I thought that was just better than I thought they were has got to be the Knicks. I didn't underestimate them entirely, but I didn't realize that the level that, first off, Brunson himself could go to, but the level that this team could go to. And in terms of just role assignment, I feel like with Emmanuel quickly kind of diverting himself to defensive guard has been really important for them, and it's been what they needed. And RJ Barrett's played his role. He's been amazing down the stretch. Julius Randle has put his input where he needed to. He's been a little bit injured, but I feel like he's been able to give it what he can out there, and they've needed that. So I feel like the Knicks I underestimated just a bit as a top team, and I feel like they've jumped to Cleveland in this series, and they are definitely in that tier of the top four in the league this year.
Well put together there, Niles. I like that answer. TD, who'd you underestimate?
Without doubt, the Sacramento Kings. I love playoff basketball. I love it because it exposes people for who they are. There's the regular season and there's the 16-game season. And what I saw in the Kings is the rare thing that's like a prized rarity in basketball, which is what De'Aaron Fox has been doing. In those first two games, he outsplashed the Splash Brothers twice. It was fourth quarter, game one, they're splashing. I go, this is over. Clay's hitting his shots, Steph's hitting his shots, and he just outdid the two of them. And then in game two, he did it again. I mean, this is what you look for if you want to be a legend, a winner, and a guy that collects rings. And in Fox, we actually have one of these, people say, is he that guy? Is he him? I think De'Aaron Fox has shown, it's been two games, but everything people pretend to be, kind of like Dame Lillard, I hate to say, with his Dame time, it's like, oh yeah, have you done it in the playoffs? these people get so overhyped in the league, and under all our noses, there's a guy, De'Aaron Fox, and I did not see it, and I've been really impressed by him.
All right, good answer. What about overestimate? Oh, sorry, my team they underestimated. I'll just go real fast. The Lakers. I picked the Grizzlies, and their supporting guys, Reeves, Hachi Rivera. They're playing well. They look good. To me, they're a legit team. Overestimate.
I was telling you guys about the Lakers too.
Yeah.
I just knew that gap in size that was lost to injury with Brandon Clark and Steven Adams, just not even just the size, but the factors of the ways they get their baskets. Obviously, with Steven Adams, his offensive rebounding, Brandon Clark's a lob threat, one of the best in the league. Like that's points still right there. Those are valuable baskets. And I think they're desperately missing that. Anthony Davis has had his way. LeBron James has had his way.
Niles, they got this series, but do they?
All right.
Hold on. Do they beat the Warriors in the next series? I get it, the Lakers. I just think the Grizzlies aren't that great. I
honestly think they have a good shot at beating Golden State. I think they have a good shot at Golden State.
I could not.
The way they get to the basket, the way Golden State fouls and turns the ball over, I think those particular weaknesses, I'll just say and leave it at that. Just pay attention to the turnover, the rebounding, and the points in the paint in that series if they do match up. And it's looking like it to me personally right now. But we'll see. But I would just look out for that if it's the Lakers-Warriors series.
Yeah, we'll get to that, TD. Don't worry if that's coming up. Who'd you overestimate? Who did you overestimate? They've turned out to be not as good as you think. Niles?
I've been disappointed with Milwaukee. I was hoping that I wouldn't personally see it this year, because I was personally rooting for a Milwaukee Phoenix rematch in the finals. But I mean, Giannis's tailbone injury was a big blow for Milwaukee, but I didn't expect it to be as big of a blow as Miami losing Hero, and not only just Hero, but just recently Victor Oladipo. And I've just seen a lack of effort out of Milwaukee. I've seen a lack of ball handling ability out of Milwaukee, and not really a lot of adjustments. I just feel like they're too stuck in that drop coverage defense. And when you're playing without Giannis, I think you need to make an adjustment. And we've seen twice now Miami shoot the ball better against Milwaukee, and that be the deciding factor. I mean, Jimmy played his heart out last night, but they hit timely threes when they needed to. Some of them belong to Jimmy, but the fact of the matter is Miami is the number one offense in the league in the playoffs after ranking 25th in the regular season. They're shooting over 50% from three against the number four defense in the league. And I expected more from Milwaukee. I expected this to be a 5-game series potentially in the other way rather than going to potentially Miami. So yeah, Milwaukee has really disappointed me in this series.
How about you, TD?
Yeah, Milwaukee has been disappointing. Even in the regular season, they were usually good without Giannis. In games Giannis didn't play, they still won all the time in the regular season.
So they're your pick too, TD?
No, no, I'm realizing now how disappointed I am. My pick is the Cavs. I was legitimately worried about them. I saw they had Twin Towers and Donovan Mitchell. I've made my mind up now about Mitchell, Garland. He's just, there's a reason why Utah had the 2 or 3 time reigning defensive player of the year and Donovan Mitchell, who's quote unquote your Michael Jordan, and they decided to blow it up. If you think about that, it's like, why would they do that? You got an awesome big man and a Michael Jordan type player, and they blew it up. Everyone's saying Mitchell's the man. Why didn't the Knicks get him? This series showed me that he's just not what he did the last game. 0 points in the second half, and then 2 points in the fourth quarter in a must-win game. You can't do that. You cannot disappear like that if you're that guy. So that has just been a major disappointment for me, the Cavs.
Just to piggyback real quick on the Donovan Mitchell point, I just feel like he's been very, very, very out of control. And I feel like this has happened in other playoff series. We've seen this out of Mitchell. He gets very tunnel visioned, very Kobe-like, not in the best way, but very shot happy. And I feel like that's kind of shot them out of these games in the postseason. But yeah, I mean, it's very valid.
Also, though, no points in the whole second half, 0 points, and he's the only guy who can score on their team. How do you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, shocking. And the guy has 38 points in the first game. He's an all NBA first team. He's going to make all NBA first team. And then he just disappears.
To me, my pick is it's honestly the Grizzlies. I know Niles brought up the injuries to their big men earlier, but they're just young, they're talented, and they're proving they're just not a real legitimate team. I mean, they're just proving it right there. The number 2 seed, and the Lakers are handling them. The Lakers they're getting beat by Austin Reeves and Hechavarria, and even Davis hasn't had some good games. And I don't know. To me, they're just such a young, talented team, and they're not proving they're legit. So that's been my team.
No, it is all
The X's and O's. It's the X's and O's.
So
but Villain Brooks has given us some entertainment. I'll give him that.
he is entertaining.
It has been fun.
All right, next question. Who's been the best player in the playoffs? Who's been the best player? Niles, why don't you give us your answer?
It's very close. I've been seeing great things from Devin Booker. I've been seeing great things from Jimmy Butler, and it's been a great playoffs. I think it comes down to Devin Booker because they've had the smoothest games, in my opinion, so far. The games that Phoenix has won has been mainly because of the play of Devin Booker. I'm going to say it's Devin, although what Jimmy's done lately really makes it really close, and he's won a couple of these games for them just off of what he's been able to do on his own. But Devin Booker's been a big. He's been. I mean, the Clippers are very down. They're down 2 stars, but I feel like Phoenix has not played their best basketball except for outside of the big 3, and the one out of the big 3 that has played the best basketball is Devin Booker. So I'm going to give it to him. He's been the most consistent. And this is just by a small hair over Jimmy, in my opinion. But
Who are you going with, TD?
yeah, I'm gonna go with Devin.
I can't say I'm sold on Devin Booker yet. He just hasn't sold me. I gotta see them sweat and have him pull out a big performance. It's been easy. Let's just be honest. He's had KD, which means he can never be. I think Booker is benefiting from KD the same way KD benefited from having Steph and Clay on the court. Basically, the defense can't leave them alone, so then you just get to benefit. Booker has been incredible. I want to see him do it with their backs against the wall. So I'm not yet ready to anoint Devin Booker this postseason, but he's definitely, if you look at the numbers, are we good?
Yep, we're good.
Oh yeah. He's staking a claim to be the guy. For me, there's been 2 guys this postseason. It's hard to choose between the 2. There's 2 guys that have shown up every single day, not at an up day, not at a down day. You can just rely on them in, out to do what they do, and you can bank on them showing up. It's been Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. They're the 2 guys who have never.
You think has Curry been better than Fox this series? Who's been the best player this series, TD? John Fox or Steph Curry?
Fox
has been better, TD.
No, Fox has been a killer in the fourth.
Fox has been better than Curry this series.
Yeah, but tough. He's
younger
injured.
and quicker.
He's injured.
I know, but that's not the question. I asked who's been the best player of this playoffs.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Even ahead of Steph Curry, even though I think Steph Curry's the better player overall. How can you take this from Jimmy Butler, what he's achieved? I mean, how can you take away what he's done in all the series? And just what's impressive is even on the bad days, he still puts up his numbers. Yeah. When they lost that play-in game, he had a terrible game shooting, but you look up, he still put up like 27, 28 points. He got to the free throw line.
Yep.
And rain, snow, or shine, he's getting it done. So you factor
in defense, you factor in leadership and toughness. that's where to me Jimmy Butler outshines a lot of these other guys. So
Yeah.
yep.
Just have a quick stat for my Booker case. Booker is
Yeah.
averaging 35 a game in 4 games on 57% shooting.
Yeah, the problem is, look, what
And
are
44.
KD's numbers? KD's just as efficient as Booker. He's
Right.
just as efficient as Booker. The Clippers
It's
are
sick.
there's done teams. That's why, to me, you can't give it to Booker unless they didn't even sweep that series. They've had some close games. They lost the first game. That's why, to me, Booker's situation compared to Booker can't. I mean, Butler's. I mean, that's true grit. What he showed last night.
Oh yeah.
Also, what I'm seeing on Booker's case, 2.8 steals and a block and a
Yeah.
half per game. Well,
Niles, he's got it. The competition's got to go up, right?
Yeah.
Butler's doing
The
it against.
defensive numbers are there, though. For someone who doesn't play defense, the numbers are there.
Well, he's been
but-
playing good defense, but Niles, the competition level is just.
Of course.
You can't compare to playing the Bucks. That's even without Giannis. It's a different intensity
Yeah.
level. But hey, listen, Booker's got a chance. They've all got a chance to prove themselves as the playoffs go on. All right, who's winning Heat Bucks? 2 more questions. Who's winning Heat Bucks? Niles, you're the Heat fan. Tell us who's winning this series.
As of right now, all the momentum's on Miami's side. I'm going to go with Miami right now. I had it completely flipped at the beginning of the series. I had the Bucks in about 6 games. I was just gifting the Heat at least one game because I had a feeling they'd take one Miami, but the second game would have been stolen somewhere in between. It ended up being Miami. But I expect Miami to win the series now. The Bucks have pinned themselves up against a wall with the Giannis injury. I think Giannis being out for a game, leaving game 1, or he missed games 2 and 3, missed most all of game 1, came back for game 4, and he looked great. He played a great game, but it's just Miami's gotten so much momentum now from that. And I think this series is over now. I don't know how. I think it could still go 6 games, but
Yeah.
the Bucks, I think, have dug themselves a big hole. And I think game 5 is going to be really interesting.
So you got Heat. Teddy, who you got?
So it's 3-1 and they're going to Milwaukee now
Yeah.
for 2 more games or
No,
what?
it's 1-1-1.
Oh yeah, the Heat got it. I think the Heat got it too. I mean, it's 3-1. Milwaukee has to win 3 games in a row with a game in Miami. I think that's too tall a task. 3 in a row is too tall a task.
I'm going with the Bucks. I think they got Giannis back now. This is what they needed, a little kick in the butt. They're going to turn up the intensity and the injuries to Miami. I think you got a heroic effort out of Butler yesterday to win a very close game. It's going to be hard to duplicate that. And the Bucks, I think, are the better team. So, but hey,
No,
it's a
it's
great
not.
series.
I don't disagree with you, but those games without Giannis killed them. If it was
I agree.
2-1, if it was 2-1 and they get Giannis back, fine. But that 3-1 lead,
I agree.
that's tough to overcome.
That's why I asked the question, because it's a hard pick. But backs to the wall are the Heat going to go into Milwaukee and win game 5? What do you
No,
think?
I don't think so. No.
Well, they going to go into Milwaukee and win game 7?
All they got to do is win the 1 of 3. That's my point. They got to
I
win
know,
1
but
of
my
3.
point is, I think the Bucks aren't going to let that happen. That's my personal opinion.
I want to say
All right, last question.
I would bet with the Heat just real quick and say that they can win in Milwaukee.
Miles, your audio's off. Something happened to your audio.
And you guys,
No, it's off.
hello?
Nope. Just try and go off and come back on.
Yeah.
All right. TD, last question. Your favorite question. Kings, Warriors, who's winning this series?
Warriors got it.
Now-
Fox is injured, which is, I mean, you wish he was out for other reasons. You never want to celebrate a guy getting injured. But this
He's
is great.
still playing.
news.
TD, he's playing.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the same guy. This is great news if you're pulling for the Warriors. They got their mojo back. It's a best of 5 series now.
It's the best of
The
3
Warriors-
series.
Yeah, I mean best of 3. Yeah, I think the Warriors found their championship form. They're feeling great now. I think the Kings have proven they can run with these guys. That they're not afraid of them. They have proven that they can go head to head. I think at this stage, though, the difference will just be the championship pedigree will get the Warriors over.
Now, so you going with Kings Warriors?
Kings Warriors. I think Golden State's got their momentum. I think they've been, I think the most well coached, and it might be a little bit of a stretch saying this, and obviously a lot of credit goes to Eric Spoelstra with Miami and his ability to coach them through that game yesterday. I mean, obviously Jimmy's been amazing, but sticking with Golden State, I feel like it was a big reality check for Draymond Green to say, "Let me come off the bench. Looney deserves to start over me," and I think that adjustment was a big difference in Game 4. And I think Steve Kerr's ability to make adjustments has gone completely under the radar because we just see Steph or Klay come out with a game that completely changes the momentum of a series. But Steve Kerr with these little box and one defenses and these screen on screener adjustments that he's made, switching defense, these little adjustments that you don't really hear about, I feel has really turned the momentum in this series because we saw even like Sacramento's no slouch even on the road. They put their best punch to Golden State, and they barely got away with Game 3. And Golden State's made they've made their mistakes, but I feel like the adjustments that Steve Kerr's made with a small roster and having some guys unavailable for a game has been everything for them. Like having Wiggins coming off the bench in the first game to having him start. And
You know, Niles,
all these
I
little
don't think,
adjustments.
I don't think that's gone unnoticed. I think that's kind of been one of the strong points of the Warriors dynasty is Kerr has always adjusted well in series.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. I just feel like not a lot of people talk about it as the reason why the series has turned around in particular. But I mean they've really made adjustments well in this series.
That was big of Draymond because he wasn't going to bench him. That was Draymond's suggestion.
Right.
Listen,
And it's a valid adjustment to having two non-shooters on the floor like Draymond and Looney. And you're not going to bench Looney after he's been the way he's been playing. And Draymond struggles at the 4 at this point in his career, in my opinion. So I think it made perfect sense to have that. You don't have a lot of depth at the forward spot, so one of them does need to come off the bench, and I think that was the right adjustment to make.
listen,
Zav, who do you have? Who do you have, Zav?
no, I think with the injury, you got to give the Warriors the edge. But if Fox wasn't hurt, I'd probably pick the Kings because the Warriors still have to go to Sacramento and win a game. And I think the Kings smell blood. They know they're younger, they're faster, and the Warriors have trouble. The one thing I'll give the Warriors is they've rediscovered the game down low with rebounding. Looney, Game 3, Draymond, Game 4. But I think in the backcourt, I think Fox and Monk are all the Warriors can handle. They are all the Warriors can handle, especially at home. So
if this goes
Warriors,
that tough, the Warriors want no part of a Game 7 in that building.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Part of that. They have to win the next game.
Yep.
They have to get it. You cannot go to a Game 7 in that building.
I agree.
Yep. All right, guys. Good stuff. We'll meet tomorrow after the Knick game. Hopefully it doesn't go too late, but we'll meet after the Knick game. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, boy.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.